Okay, hey David, how are you?
Good, Lisa. How are you?
Good. So here with David Meerman Scott and catching up on, I know you just published a book, Marketing the Moon, and I hear that you have another one coming out. Can you please
Yeah,
share the details?
my tenth book. I can't believe I've written 10 books in 13 years. It just seems crazy. Is called The New Rules of Sales and Service, and The New Rules of Sales and Service is a book about how social networking is really infiltrating the idea of sales and the idea of customer service, and how it's really important for people in sales and in customer service to understand how social is important for them and how they do their jobs, because the ways that people buy products today have completely shifted. And marketing and PR are pretty far down the transition. You know, most people in marketing and most people in PR know that a great way to reach multiple buyers is through social networks, for blogs and YouTube videos and Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn and the like. But now it's going down to the level of one-to-one, one salesperson communicating with one buyer, and that's what my book is talking about. We are going through, I believe, the second part of the revolution of human communications. The first part of the revolution was one to many. How can one person or one company communicate to many people? The second part of this revolution, which will take another decade, is how can one person communicate to another person using social media and use it for the purposes of sales and service. So, like my other books, I have tons of case examples in the book, and with companies of large and small, nonprofits, rock bands, and whatnot from all over the world.
Yeah, so this is actually perfect because week two of my class at University of Florida talks about the social media revolution
All
and
right.
really how, it's really just getting started. And I think a good
It
point,
is just getting started,
yeah.
and a lot of people don't realize that. We are in the middle of a 25-year revolution. We're probably about halfway through the revolution, and young people get it. They grew up with Facebook. My daughter, for example, who's 21, she's going to be a senior in university. When she started her first year of high school, she got her Facebook. So she's part of the generation that spent their entire high school and college years on social networks. She's that very early generation. She and probably most of your students get it, but the older generation, they don't
Well,
necessarily get it yet.
I agree, and I think that that's a good point to bring up to the students that are graduating and are going to be out in the workforce, that they're going to have to deal with uh, peers that don't get it for about,
They need to be agents of change. They
yeah,
need to get out there and show people how this is the way people communicate. This is how people engage. I'm sure that your students are the same way. But my daughter doesn't like the telephone. She doesn't use the telephone. It's
yeah.
texting. It's social networking. It's not the old-fashioned stuff.
So this whole concept of using social media and customer service, there's going to be a lot of changes that are need to be made. Everybody's used to doing, working in silos and not working together. Social media is over here, customer service is over here,
Right.
public
Right.
relations is over here, search marketing is over here somewhere in the boiler room.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody's going to have to really start collaborating.
It's going to have to come together. I mean, imagine, and this is true. Imagine 100 years ago. 100 years ago, you would have had a company, let's say a smaller company, 50 people, with one telephone. And then people would say, "Oh, I've got to go use the telephone." "Oh, why do you need to use the telephone? That's expensive. Why do you need to do that? We don't. You shouldn't use the telephone on company time unless it has for company business and this kind of thing." That's where we are now with social. There might be a pocket of social media in the PR department, but a lot of companies won't even allow salespeople to be on social. So we have to go through the rest of this revolution together.
Okay, so when is the book coming out?
Officially September 2nd, although it might ship from Amazon the week before.
Okay, so I will make sure to put out an alert to the class when it's
Great.
available. And where can the students follow you on social media?
Probably the best place is DM Scott is my Twitter. I'm also on my blog on a fairly regular basis. I do some videos and whatnot, but DM Scott on Twitter is probably the best place to start.
Okay, so you heard it here. Follow David Meerman Scott at DM Scott on Twitter. Thanks, David.
Thank you, Lisa.